Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 326th part of explanation of my theory. According to my theory and my formulas, Arıdaşır's mine anti-lecture about Compton shift. The conceptual picture of the Compton experiment in accepted physics is a simple picture of two billiard balls colliding and energy transferring. A massless photon particle hits an electron, giving it kinetic energy. The photon loses energy after this collision. Yes. These are Compton shift pictures. Okay. Without continuous spectrum. There is no decisively important fact in Compton shift picture in physics. This phenomenon is a continuous spectrum in which a characteristic ray can only appear in conjunction with. This is continuous spectrum of molybdenum, and this spike is T alpha equals to 0.0709 nanometer. Here, the characteristic ray that is the subject of the Compton experiment is the key alpha ray of molybdenum with 0.0709 nanometer. Okay? And although the details are not noticed by accepted physics, it is known that the continuous spectrum is direction dependent and isotropic, while the characteristic ray is not direction dependent, isotropic. Angular change in the wavelength of characteristic ray or second peak, angular change. Okay. Yes. Angular change in the wavelength of characteristic ray, which can only occur in conjunction with the continuous spectrum, must be determined by the angular energy change in the continuous spectrum. But the truth is that the Bragg's crystal used in Compton experiment filtered out the continuous spectrum. Bragg's crystal, selective. Compton shift cannot be explained independently of the determining effect of the continuous spectrum. And according to my theory and my formulas, a continuous spectrum represents a free electron. Blue circles, not now circles, okay? Yes. And according to my theory and my formulas, a continuous spectrum represents a free electron motion form that is in motion and its consecutive waves. This is 0 degree direction. in motion electron. Here it's consecutive waves, blue. Here, from this starting spike, key alpha, its source is proton-bound electron motion form, single wave pulse, different light types, different light type. Okay. Key alpha, single wave pulse from a proton-bound electron motion form, enlarging and expanding and shrinking. While shrinking, pour out a single wave pulse, as I told you before. Okay, but it doesn't change. In each direction, it goes to eternity at the speed of light, but in 0 degree direction, smallest velocity of electron motion forms wavelength. Opposite direction, greatest wave velocity at this point 150. And each point consecutive waves or free electron motion form. For each point there are different energy values, angular momentum values, wave velocity values, wavelength values. Different wavelengths without frequency changing. As I told you before, here continuous spectrum. For each point, wavelength will change according to motion direction of electron motion form, and at each point wavelength will change. This is the reason that Compton shift, that is, mimics free electron motion forms directional changing. Relatively, its velocity, its motion direction, its orientation. In this point, different highest energy, highest mass, point mass. At this point, smallest mass, smallest energy, highest wavelength. For consecutive waves of free electron motion form. There is no a particle, photon particle. Photon is, as I told you before, is an inseparable point on electron motion form or its waves, spherical ring-shaped waves, or point on single wave pulse from proton-bound electron motion form. And for free electron motion form and its consecutive waves, it is cycling, yes. And we will see now when photon coincide with free electron motion form or its waves, photon single wave pulse point don't give energy, don't transfer energy to consecutive waves. Their point energies for each direction increase together or decrease together. I have computed snapshots. Yes. Okay. Let an electron be accelerated. Wait a moment. And according to my theory and my formulas, a continuous spectrum represents a free electron motion form that is in motion and its consecutive waves. However, when Compton shift phenomenon is examined in detail, it is revealed that the energy in the photon and electron increases or decreases together. What I did before was to reveal this according to my theory and my formulas. Okay? Let an electron be accelerated by applying a voltage of 20,000 volts. Okay, this is my formula. Shortened wavelength formula, lambda normal minus delta lambda. 1248 divided by applying voltage, delta lambda here from my formulas, 0.1576 nanometer for consecutive waves. Okay, free electron motion forms consecutive waves. For instance, it's in 90 degrees normal, okay, initial wavelength is 0.22 nanometer when it is at rest, a free electron motion form, but when it gains energy, okay, when it gains energy, its velocity to 214,900, this is, okay, electron motion forms, velocity, then this point here, its energy is highest, this point smallest. Then key alpha must follow these, increasing energy or decreasing energy. Yes, it is so. I have computed, okay, wait a moment. Yes, whatever the initial wavelength radius of this electron, its consecutive waves wavelength in the direction of its movement will be 0.0624 nanometer. Let the initial at rest undisturbed wavelength of the electron be 0.22 nanometer. Here, it will be very easy to find delta lambda. Therefore, the speed of wave in this direction and velocity of the accelerated electron from here, and each point energy we can find easily. Okay, then when we apply shifted T alpha, we see that T alpha second peak changing follows original consecutive waves energy changing. Together increase, together decrease. Not a photon. Photon doesn't give to electron or its wave energy, or vice versa. Okay. Photon doesn't lose energy because of this. Okay. Electron motion form or its waves doesn't gain energy from the photon. Only photon point on a single wave pulse when coincide at different points, that different wavelengths, different directions, mimics consecutive waves or electron motion forms energy. Because Compton shift is synthesized, is changing. What is the reason of this changing, peak wavelength changing? Because of consecutive waves of free electron motion form and single wave pulse coincide, okay, interfere with each other, then mimics at each point. For instance, in this 0 degree point, consecutive waves energy is highest level 31,842.9, 10 to the minus 19 joules. And key alpha shift energy is at its highest energy in 0 degree direction, 28,025.4 10 to the minus 19 joules. In opposite direction, okay, 135 degrees, together minimum, together smallest, not smallest, smaller point energy 5,995 10 to the minus 19 joules for point energy in this direction. Key alpha point energy 26,615.7 10 to the minus. Okay. As through the 0 together decreases, together increases energy, but through the 150 degrees together decreasing energy, through the 0 degree together increase energy. Okay, and in 9 degrees there is no energy changing for each waves coincide. Okay, it's the same. Yes. Snapshot. And this one from my previous video. Here, snapshot and snapshot. If electron motion form didn't relocate, this is the